My friends, we gathered here this morning on this beautiful day in the Sunshine City of the Sunshine State to take a journey to take back our state's destiny, to chart a new path, one that is built on the foundation of an economy that is fair for the middle class, where hardworking Floridians have every opportunity to get ahead because their government is looking out for their interest. My friends, I don't have to tell you that we have here in Florida today, and what we have here in Florida today, isn't working. Tallahassee is out of control. Governing for the people has been replaced with cronyism and government on the fringes. The voice of the people has been silenced by the financial bullies and the special interests. Other than a few legislators, and thank you for being here, you really have no advocate there anymore. It is really disappointing that it has come to this. Governor Scott went to Tallahassee on a platform of being an outsider, someone who would shake up the town, put special interests in their place, and take on the excesses of the legislature. Nice flyover. Well, as we all know, that didn't even last a day. Overnight, he went from taking on Tallahassee to becoming the example of what's wrong with the place. The seat that you occupied, the people occupied, at the table was replaced by a revolving door of special interest, each anteing up hundreds of thousands of dollars for the governor's reelection fund to ensure their voice was heard and not yours. The more I watched Rick Scott govern, the partisanship, the deals, always putting the special interests ahead of your interests, and the more I heard from you, the people, I knew it was time to take Florida in a better direction. So today, I announce that I am running for governor of Florida. And the reason is to put you back in charge. Because you deserve a governor who wakes up every day thinking about you, who you can trust to govern honestly in our collective best interest, who will make this economy more fair for hardworking taxpayers like you, and who will move Florida forward, not by giving every break to big business, but by leading on the things that matter to you: good schools, affordable health care, respect for our environment, dignity for our seniors. Because that's who I am, and that's what I believe in, and that's what I'll do if you help me become your next governor. You know, my record is pretty clear. Putting the people first. Going back to the days when I was privileged to serve this great community in the state Senate, I always tried to do what was best and in the best interests of the people. And I am proud of my record as your governor. Investing in public education and stopping the layoffs of some 20,000 school teachers during the global economic meltdown. Cracking down on government corruption and opening up government so that you, the people, could be the watchdog. Cutting unnecessary regulations that held back the entrepreneurial spirit of small business owners, while protecting those regulations that protect consumers. Helping families by dramatically cutting property taxes and stopping the excessive profits of the property insurance companies. Advocating for seniors by working to cut the cost of prescription drugs and helping seniors stay in their home instead of being forced to move into nursing homes. Standing up for the basic tenets of democracy that ensure voters would vote on paper ballots and extending early voting hours in 2008. Nobody should stop you from your ability and opportunity to vote. Being tough on crime, locking up the most dangerous in our society so they can do no harm, and also leading on forgiveness. by ensuring that former nonviolent felons who had paid their debt to society get their rights restored and the second chance they've earned. And Bert, leading on the environment, working to help the Gulf Coast recover from the oil spill, reducing the pollution to our precious Everglades, and supporting green energy. This was our record, one of putting Florida families ahead of partisan politics, making sure the middle class was put ahead of partisan and extremism, and trying to work with willing members of both parties to move our Florida ahead and forward. And we can do so much more. I know it. I know it in my heart. Right now, we have an economic plan led by Governor Scott that is entirely focused on giving away money to corporations. That may be a great way to take care of your friends and raise campaign dollars, but that's no way to build an economy that is built to last. Listen, I am sorry, Governor Scott, but flying around the state in your private jet to hold press conferences is not how we create an economy that grows for the middle class. And economists agree, many of them saying that Florida is lagging behind where we need to be. And certainly we are lagging way behind the 1.7 million jobs he promised to create. So here is how we get the real economy growing again. Number one, we are going to improve education and make college more affordable. When I talk to CEOs, they tell me the number one thing they worry about is the availability of a qualified workforce. We are uniquely positioned to lead America in the coming century. But we will only be as good as our people are ready to take on this challenge. To this end, we must never settle, and we cannot stop until our reputation, not only here, but around the world, is as a center of greatness when it comes to our schools. And we will set a date. We will set a date. By 2020, we want to be in the top 10%, not just in America, Charlie, but in the world, in reading, math, science, and technology. And we should wake up every morning asking ourselves, what are we doing today to make sure our students succeed tomorrow? Sadly, while our teachers work so very hard to make our schools great, the support they receive from our governor is pitiful. And it's just not right. For education commissioners in 3 years, budget cuts, constantly moving targets on accountability, and a governor who cares so little about education that he didn't even come to his own education summit. But he did take time to go to the Tea Party convention the same week. As your governor, we will get back to where teachers are the centerpiece of our education policy. Every child in our state deserves a high-quality teacher, and we must pay those high-quality teachers what they are worth. Let us not forget, the most important teacher in every child's life is their mom and dad, and their caregivers at home. Parents also need to take responsibility to make sure their kids are doing their work and ready for school. We must also invest in our schools. Rick Scott's first education budget cut $1.3 billion out of education. And his second budget cut $300 million out of higher education. We will fully restore those cuts and invest smartly in K through 12, to hire the very best teachers and give our kids the best chance to prepare for a job or college. On college education, we must continue to strive to make our universities great. And we must keep working to keep college affordable. I will reverse Governor Scott's cuts to Bright Future scholarships. That promise should not have been broken. And will propose an expansive new program that will incentivize students to stay in school and earn their graduate degree in key science, technology, engineering, and medical programs if they agree to stay in our beautiful Florida. Number two, we are going to refocus our tax policy to provide tax cuts for the middle-class families and small businesses in Florida. Today, Florida's tax policy only works if you are a special interest with a lobbyist. But if not, if you're an everyday person or a small business person. But it is everyday people and small business people all across our state who are the true engine of our economy. Let me give you one example. It is a glaring one, and the press has written about it extensively. Just this year, Governor Scott arranged to ensure that one of his largest campaign contributors would receive a $52 million contract from Citizens, the state's property insurance company. It was a sweetheart deal, driven directly out of the governor's office. But at the same time, and not widely reported, he vetoed funding for the National Entrepreneur Center, a great Orlando community-based organization that exists for one reason only, to help small businesses get off the ground through training and venture capital. Under this administration, big business, big contributor, big lobbyists, they're the winners, while everyday small business people are the losers. As governor, we're going to have a tax policy that puts you, the people, first, and when we can, cut taxes, and I do believe in cutting taxes. It is you, the people, who will get the relief. And when we spend money to help business, we're going to use it to grow the economy from the middle class out and not simply give it away to supporters. Number three, we're going to invest in an infrastructure, our infrastructure, roads, bridges, ports. To grow this state for the middle class, we must have the finest infrastructure in the world. We are going to modernize our roads and ports, ensuring that all of Florida's major ports have access to the new, bigger Panama Canal ships that are coming. And that all of those ports have ready access to move cargo onto roads and onto rail. And we are going to laser focus on growing the Space Coast, home of some of the smartest engineers and scientists in the world. In the post-shuttle era, we must work to turn Port Canaveral into one of the world's leading transportation hubs, a place where goods and services can be shipped by rail, road, water, air, or space. And yes, my friends, we are going to renew the effort to create high-speed rail and mass transit systems. Common sense versus nonsense. We need to get people off our clogged roads, make it easier for Floridians and our visitors to get around our beautiful state. Number four, invest in renewable energy like wind, solar, and even offshore hydropower. Where's McIntyre? We are, after all, the Sunshine State, my friends. There are few places in America harder to invest in solar technology than Florida. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's right. What you said. We are going to remove the monopoly by big utility companies and let smaller companies who specialize in renewable energy compete. And make it easier and cheaper for you to put solar on your home or your business. Thank God, don't thank me. He did it. Right, Bert? As well as encourage investment in solar wind fields. We are also going to encourage the groundbreaking research right here in Florida to harness the power of the Gulf Stream, right off our coast, and it's clean. That's the way to go. And number five, we will continue to make Florida a destination worth visiting and doing business with. We live in the greatest state, in the greatest country on the planet. And we should continue to encourage people to visit our beautiful Florida. We will continue to invest in programs like Visit Florida to market our state's wonders around the world, as well as to continue to look for ways to bring more people here. And we are going to make a trade policy a priority like never before. Right now, our trade policy is having our governor jet all over the world, or like everything else, have corporate giveaways to supporters. We can do better than that. I know we can. You know we can. As governor, I will create the position of Florida Trade and Development Representative, a cabinet-level job that will report directly to me. And that job will have only one responsibility: to open the doors to foreign markets so that Florida companies can sell their goods and services overseas. Because there is one thing I know for certain. If we make Florida the trade beacon for Latin America and the rest of the world, we will create tens, if not hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs for homegrown small businesses right here in our Florida. We will be a state where we make it easy for every business, small, medium, and large, to succeed and create jobs. But what we won't be is a state where the scales are tipped in favor of those who pay for influence. Instead, we will invest in education, job training, state colleges, and the small business development that give everyone a fair shot. And that is how we will get this economy working again for the people, for the middle-class people. And growing the middle class and standing up for you was #1 priority of the governor's office when I had the privilege to serve you. Rather than growing the economy by improving schools and making college affordable, Rick Scott cut education spending by billions and made it harder for middle-class families to send their kids to college. He said no to high-speed rail, increased pollution in the Everglades, and even signed a law that made it harder to vote. Unconscionable in a democracy. That's not how you lead. It is about to become the 3rd largest state in the nation. That's not how you lead her. That's not how it's done. I know we can do better, and I know you deserve it. Instead, Governor Scott has led like this: embrace the ideological fringes, take care of his friends, bully his opponents, hide from the public and the press, and run from tough issues. Shouldn't really come as a surprise, though. Think about it. He hid from federal investigators as a businessman, and his company had to pay the largest fine at the time for fraud in the history of America. He disparaged a good woman, Alex Sink, to win in 2010, and now he's trying to bully me by waving around his $100 million checkbook. $100 million. And he says he will start spending $25 million, I think it begins tonight, on me, with false advertising, negative ads, and nothing about his record, because he doesn't have a record he's proud of. Now, I trust you, and you can trust me, and I know you're smart enough not to believe those ads. And the first ad for his re-election released today, guess what? It's a negative one. Why? God got us. He knows Floridians don't support his record as governor and think his priorities are wrong. But you know what? There's another way. There's a better way. We can go in a new direction that embraces common sense and not cronyism. One that rejects the nasty tone of today's politics. Yes, we can choose a direction that is inclusive. One where ideas trump money and power. One that says no one or no party has a monopoly on good ideas, and one that is willing to bring people together to find common sense. Listen, my friends, I love Florida, and I know you do too. I love her with all my heart. We are a state that embraces outsiders, even outsiders like Rick Scott. For now. People come here because we are a state where traditionally any middle-class American can live the American dream and can do it living in paradise. And we can be that state again. We deserve a governor who will listen to his opponents, not demonize them. We deserve a governor who will be an advocate for teachers all the time, not just at election time. We deserve a governor who will fight to provide middle-class families access to affordable health care. We deserve a governor that will fight for our senior citizens. We deserve a governor who will fight to protect our precious Everglades and our beaches and ensure that every Floridian has clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. We deserve a governor who recommits to preserving the open lands of this beautiful state for generations to visit, hike, hunt, and fish. We deserve a governor that will open the doors of democracy. We deserve a governor who believes all Floridians deserve a voice, not just those who agree with him or who can write the biggest check. We deserve a governor who will embrace the best of all of us, not the politics of Washington. We simply deserve a governor who will stand up for the people. I always have, and I always will. Thank you. Thank you. I'm wrapping up. Don't worry. The far right wing seems to think it important to make much of my party affiliation. That is precisely what is wrong with politics today. Rick Scott, like his gang, and this gang in Washington, and here in Florida, seem to think that the only way to govern is from the fringes. That anyone who doesn't agree with them on everything is an enemy, or worse yet, somehow not as patriotic. That is why Washington is so dysfunctional and why state government has lost its way here. When the people give you the honor of being their governor, you aren't the governor of any one party. You're the governor for all Floridians. No matter what they say, it is not a sin to reach across the aisle. It is your obligation to work together. So yes, I'm running as a Democrat, and I am proud to do it. But to every independent and every Republican, like Mom and Dad, who feels we are losing our way, please join us and stand with me. We will not agree on everything, nor should we. But the principles that unite us as Americans and Floridians will always be more compelling than the issues that will ever divide us. Rick Scott doesn't get it, but I know you do. Don't you? You get it, don't you? My friends, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be a tough fight. And I cannot walk this journey alone. I need you to help me. I don't have their special interest. I don't have their special interest checkbook, and I am not a wealthy man, at least not in money. So I need you to contribute your time and your treasure. And I need you to leave here and go out and start a conversation with your friends, your neighbors, your family, and anyone who will listen. Because if we are tireless in our desire to make Florida a better place again, then Rick Scott can spend $8 billion on dishonest ads, and it won't matter. You know why? Because we will have an army of angels every day on our side to support us through this. And in 1 year from today, we will come back here that night, and we will celebrate a great victory, a victory for the people, because you deserve it. The time is now. I love Florida because you are here, and you are watching. You love her too. She deserves better, and we're going to give it to you. Do me a favor. Go to charliecrist.com. Go to charliecrist.com and do everything you can. Volunteer, give us your email. We need it to get moving and get forward. Go on Facebook. Go on Twitter. Follow us. And do me this favor. Thank God for everything we have. Thank God for everything we have. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless our beautiful Florida. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.